Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. Welcome to the LL3 podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date is Thursday, October 31st, 2019. Halloween, Hallows Eve, whatever you want to call it. Some say it's a religious holiday. A lot of heritage behind it with the Celts, the Nordics. Many of the witches will be manifesting later on that night. Possibly around the world. Yes, and we all know the whole debacle with the impeachment inquiry, which is nothing more than a total farce. Because all the folks in the House of Representatives, the people in Congress, doesn't matter what side of the paradigm or the party, hasn't upheld their oath of office as well. Can we say double standards or exceptionalism? Well, one thing I have to say when I hear all about these whistleblowers from secondhand information, that's a speculator, hearsayer, gossiper. That's right. Don't get too distracted from that. But you should let your House representatives know, call them out, because a lot of them are nothing more than arrogant hypocrites. And just let them know you're not a Trump lover either, a part of the Trump train, Trump nation, Trump 2020 bandwagon, etc. It's called principles. Yes, I have criticism towards the president too, on multiple occasions, and people that hear my show understand that completely. Well, when everyone's talking about that, a couple of things came out. This came out yesterday, to be exact, and it is mainly about the Keystone pipeline. I'm going to be talking about one more subject as well. And I'd like to thank the Mind Unleashed for putting this out. And this one's here says, the Keystone pipeline shut down after leaking oil in North Dakota, and nobody's talking about it. Why is that? Many of them are have shares, even the folks in government. Well, this is what they have to say here. And I'll have the author's name, and I do apologize. I just printed these out. A pipeline carrying tar sands oil in the United States from Canada has reportedly leaked an unknown amount of oil across North Dakota. The pipeline owners, TC Energy, formerly known as TransCanada, shut down the pipeline as a result of the leak. TC Energy immediately began the process to shut down the pipeline, activated its emergency response procedures, and dispatched ground technicians to assess the situation, the company said. According to State Environmental Quality Chief Dave Glatt, regulators were notified of the crude oil leak near the town of Endenburg in northeastern North Dakota late on Tuesday after detecting a drop in pressure. The oil was reportedly leaked over the area that regulators have estimated to be about 1,500 feet long and 15 feet wide as of Wednesday afternoon. The Calgary, Alberta-based company is working to contain the spill, the cause of which is currently under investigation. Area roads are closed as the cleanup and investigation continues. According to Glatt, area drinking water was not affected by the spill, though some wetlands are affected. Okay, so how guaranteed insured is that? Insuring, okay? Okay, as I proceed, it is clear when the leak began and for long has been leaking. A cost of $5.2 billion, the 590,000 barrel per day Keystone pipeline, which began pumping crude oil in 2010, is part of a 2,687 mile system that would include the Keystone XL pipeline if approved. Just yesterday, tribal officer Kip Spotted Eagle told a South Dakota State panel that the proposed Keystone XL pipeline should not be allowed to divert water from the three rivers in North Dakota. The Yankton Sioux Tribe Historic Preservation Officer said the proposed pipeline project could infringe on the tribe's hunting and fishing. The $8 billion project is seeking permits to use water from the Cheyenne, White, and Bad rivers in South Dakota. The state's Department of Environment and Natural Resources has recommended the board grant the permits. Yeah, so how much kickbacks are you folks getting that's representing that particular department? Yes, and of course, the people who protested in Standing Rock got tear gas, got beat on, got pushed out of the way. And now look what happened. Very intriguing indeed. And even President Trump signed the executive order to support the pipeline. I talked about that in January. I think it was 2017. Yeah. You probably look at my archives. I did address that. So, it tells you one thing. A lot of folks believe they're smarter than Mother Nature. Of course, it's going to be trial and errors. But when it jeopardizes certain lands that are considered sacred and resourceful, you got a bunch of clowns out there that don't give a damn. It's not capitalism or anything like that. It's called tyranny, my friends. I like to see lands be preserved and protected. I hate when I go to cities like in home on Fort Lauderdale to see all these luxurious pigeonholes being built. Raw and limestone. Buildings do sink. But they're like, I know I'm smarter than you. I went to 4 or 5 years, 6 years of college and know about these things. Huh. Well, these people have been living on it are a lot more educated than you folks that try to be know-it-alls in these fields. But I'll continue on here. This came from the Star Tribune, and there's like a link to this. It says here, Keystone Pipeline leaks oil in northeastern North Dakota. A pipeline that carries tar sand oil from Canada through 7 states has leaked an unknown amount of crude oil over more than a quarter-mile swath in northeastern North Dakota. State environmental regulators said Wednesday. State Quality Chief David Glatt told Associated Press that regulators were notified late Tuesday night of the leak near Endenburg in Walsh County. Glatt said pipeline owner TC Energy shut down the pipeline after the leak was detected. The cause of the spill is under investigation. The Calgary, Alberta-based company formerly known as TransCanada did not immediately respond to phone messages seeking comment Wednesday. State regulators were on the scene Wednesday afternoon, and they estimated that the area of the spill was 1,500 feet long by 15 feet wide. Flatland says some wetlands were affected, but not any sources of drinking water. The company was still working to contain the spill Wednesday afternoon. Crude oil began flowing through $5.2 billion pipeline in 2010 as part of the system that also include the proposed $8 billion Keystone XL pipeline designed to transport the oil from Western Canada to the terminals on the Gulf Coast. Earlier Tuesday, the U.S. State Department held a sole public meeting on a new environmental review of the long-stalled proposal. A federal judge blocked it last year, saying more environmental study was needed. The original Keystone is designed to carry crude oil across Saskatchewan and Manitoba and through North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri on the way in refineries in Patoka, Illinois, and Cushing, Oklahoma. It has experienced problems with spills in the past, including one in 2011, more than 14,000 gallons of oil in southeastern North Dakota, near the South Dakota border. In 2017, the pipeline leaked an estimated 210,000 gallons of oil onto agricultural land in northeastern South Dakota in a rural area near the North Dakota border. Well, folks got to take responsibility for their actions. That's why many of the folks out there that do care about the land they live on and survive want to be self-contained, not having bureaucrats and lobbyist groups tell us how to think and live. It's very disturbing indeed. Just an example how the earth is being ruined. Blowing up the planet is not the solution. Preserving it and being vigilant is. A lot of folks in the world, they take things for granted. But if everything collapses, they will panic. And that's what, even a person like myself, I always pay homage to the folks in Standing Rock. Even people from around the country went to join, doesn't matter what race, color, creed, etc. It's principles. And don't get me wrong, a lot of folks in the energy field don't want these things happening as well. You got many of them trying to make sure there's no stress in the pipe, verify everything the best you can. So all things the human element. A lot of risk. Don't get me wrong. But something to talk about. There's some great people out there in these smaller refineries. They always try to protect their area. It's always a double-edged sword. Work with Mother Nature, not be against it. This is an example of what can happen. And it has to be talked about, like many other things. So much crazy information out there, my friends. I'm being bundled on it, just attacked on it, piled, yeah? Well, I'm going to do one more here. It'll be a short segment. And I'm sorry for being, having absence, no intent. Just, make a living as well. So I'm like, hey, I got to do a show. It's been a while. But thank you for your patience. And, hey, I thank the folks from Paris. It's called LAV, LAVF. They've been downloading my shows, which is very nice. And people out there are checking it out. One more here. This one came from Common Dreams. Even though this is from the mindunleashed.com, but Common Dreams, and I don't know the person's name on here, so that's a shame. But about Trump announces more militarized police, vows nationwide crackdown. Can we say God bless Homeland Security, Big Brother, and federalization? Let's continue on here. President Trump on Monday said the Justice Department is preparing to launch a sweeping crackdown on crime that he named, quote, the surge, unquote. A term commonly associated with George W. Bush's administration decision to send tens of thousands of additional troops into Iraq in 2007. Could we say God bless the empire? In coming weeks, Attorney General Barr will announce a new crackdown on violent crime, which I think is so important, targeting gangs and drug traffickers in high-crime cities and dangerous rural areas. Trump said during an International Association Chief of Police conference in Chicago, let's call it the surge. The president did not provide any details on the plan, but it said it's going to be very dramatic. And you're going to see tremendous results very quickly. So how many people are going to get their heads blown off and toss them into the refinery, right? As is to emphasize his views of America's cities as war zones, Trump went on to tout his administration's success in putting military equipment into the hands of U.S. police officers and claimed Afghanistan is a safe place compared to Chicago. Okay. Hopefully you folks in Chicago can comprehend that there, okay? To help keep you safe, I've made $600 million worth of surplus military equipment available to local law enforcement. Trump told the audience of police chiefs, if you remember, the previous administration didn't want to do that. They didn't want to make you look so tough. They didn't want you to make you look like you're a threat. Can we say very Orwellian indeed, and we should all put our hands in our hearts, go, God bless Homeland Security and 1984. There's a video clip on here you should check out as well. But I'm going to probably share that to my Facebook page. To all you Trump worshippers out there, do you support centralizing the police departments in your community? And to continue on here, Trump's visit to Chicago, the first of his presidency, was met with massive protests led by Indivisible Chicago and other progressive advocacy groups. Striking Chicago public school teachers also cleared their Monday afternoon schedule to take part in demonstrations against the president. We heard that President Trump might be in town. Leaders of the Chicago Teachers Union wrote in an email to members late Sunday. If any member were inclined to show up outside his fundraiser in red, that would qualify as productive in our view. Thousands of protesters gathered and marched outside the Trump International Hotel and Tower in downtown Chicago, where the president attended a big money campaign fundraiser after the law enforcement conference. And here's some of the tweets. Chants that is what democracy looks like, and vote Trump out. Can you tell me in the Constitution where it says we're a democracy? Good grief, some of these people are like herd conformists, man. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep on here. As protesters walk north on Michigan Avenue, they've all marched all over downtown after leaving Waker Drive, across from Trump Tower. That's from CBS Chicago. Came out on the 28th. Thousands of people out here in the streets to protest this guy. Hey, Chicago, come out and join us. There's hashtag Chicago Trump protest, hashtag Chicago away Trump, hashtag National Chicago's president, hashtag Chi by 45, hashtag lock him up, Indivisible IL, 9 Andersonville, Edgewater. That was the tweet on that, on a Twitter account. October 28th at the same time. And of course right here, teachers and supporters turn against Trump. That's from the Indivisible Chicago South Side. And we're angry. Marge Halpern of Indivisible Chicago told Guardian, he is taking pleasure in the misery of our city. He doesn't know us. He's coming to our city to raise money, largely from people who don't live in the city. I can't argue with that. Without having addressed, supported, listened to the people who really need help. This is why the people in Chicago got to go on a local level and even on the state level. And just to let you know, too, the drug war is a sham. All you got to do is end it, just like they did in the prohibition of alcohol. Plain and simple. It's not going to be perfect, but it's getting ludicrous. And the city of Chicago believes firearms are illegal. Well, it violates their state constitution. Give them the big middle finger and ask them, including your police chief, prove to us that the police are obligated to protect the beautiful people in Chicago. They can't. So your natural born rights are the highest law in Chicago. No excuses. And this whole federalization program is treacherous, is blackmail, bribery. Yeah, I mean, what's funny about that, but the people in Congress have that same mindset. They don't care about any of us. So the bottom line is this, my friends. Say no to federalization of our police and beyond. Because if you do, it will blow back in your faces when least expect it. Stay strong, Chicago. It's time to clean up your city as well. And that is it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or if you're saying something that's interesting I want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. And I will give you the information on where you can find these links, okay, to the footnotes. All right. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Till next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. and may your guardian spirits be with you.